June 10th, regular council meeting of Armada will come to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Coleman is absent. Adair.
Here.
Belkey.
Here.
Sturritt.
Here.
Okay. We have approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Oh.
Support.
Okay. Do we have any citizens that want to comment tonight?
Yeah, vote.
Oh,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, citizens. Sam?
Hi, my name is Sam Belkey. I live at 73715 South Fulton. I'm just coming here with an update for the Chamber of Commerce Parking Committee. I wanted to let you know that we met. We're continuing to make progress. We met on May 29th. The Village Council Liaison, Steve Clark, was there, and the Police Chief was there. We had a very productive meeting. We identified what we feel are the primary contributing factors to the parking congestion, and we prioritized them based on what would provide the biggest amount of relief the soonest. So we are meeting this week, Wednesday, June 12th, 6 p.m. in this room. We will continue to work through our process, and everybody is welcome to join us.
At what time?
Pardon me?
What time?
6 p.m.
When did you meet, man? Sam, May what?
29.
29th. And I just found out I am not going to be able to attend this next meeting. I have to go up to the cottage and take care of some business. So,
Okay.
you want to still have it or wait till the next week?
I can talk to the rest of the committee
Okay.
and see what we think is
I'm
best.
sorry about the short notice, but I just found out, so.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Got to meet a heating contractor up there, so. Okay, thanks, Sam. Anybody else have any comments? Chris, did you want to?
Chris Crotchy, Wilcott, in the township. I'm running for township supervisor. My goal is for change. Change the tone, change the ethics, change a lot of that. I think Burke Street and Main Street should work together. I don't think we should be two different committees. I think there should be collaboration. I think we should work together. You know, there should be an open door policy each way. And in my 5 years of seeing that, it doesn't seem to be that way. Very passionate, and I do something about 110% into it. Look forward to the future. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Marcia Hollins. I live at 20120 Armada Ridge Road. I'm here today to propose something to not only the village, I'll also be presenting at the township office. I am very concerned about transparency, not only in the village, but in the township board. And I would recommend, and with this recommendation comes me to do the work. I would offer my services to the village as well as to the township. There's nothing you would have to do, and it would not cost you any money because this service is free to nonprofit and government agencies. This is iChat. Does anybody know what iChat is? iChat is the system, the state of Michigan system for checking criminal backgrounds. The actual tool is called the Internet Criminal History Access Tool. I believe that over time, it's better that we know the background of incumbents, of people running for office, of volunteers, of anyone who works for the township or the village, to be upright, honest, and have integrity. And I think that iChat inquiries should be done when you apply for an office, when you're running again, or as an incumbent. Sometimes we get in office, we stay there 10, 15 years, and we just assume that the person has a clear background. Well, iChat would provide the opportunity to maintain transparency, to know where everyone is. I hear all sorts of things in the community, A, B, C, this happened, that happened. I think to stop the chatter, to stop the negative comments that are made. If everyone, all of you, I'd be more than happy to submit an iChat survey for each of you, as well as anybody coming into office. And let me tell you specifically what it would do. The iChat Criminal History Access Tool provides the following criminal information: arrest records, charges, case disposition, sentencing information, parole and probation status, aliases, demographic information, warrant information. You don't have to provide your social security number or your driver's license. They are not searchable. But I would recommend that we do that for current, anybody running, and to maintain an iChat. We do it for our schools, we do it for nonprofits. It won't cost you a penny, and I'd be more than happy to provide that service. Secondly, I am a part of the team to elect a new supervisor for our township and village. This is the person's name, this is the individual, and all I'm asking is that it's time for change. When I came to this community in 2020, I wanted to be active and I was all gung-ho, and I get all this information and I see where the township is, where I live, and I just think it's time for change. 16 years is a long time. Is it 3 minutes yet? 16 minutes is a long time for us to have someone in leadership. And I will say nothing negative except it's time for change. Let's communicate and let's stop wasting money on lawsuits and disagreements, and let's pull people together in the community instead of putting all these red lines and encumbrances on them to get things done in the township and village. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay, then we'll move on. We have administrative reports. Do I have a motion?
No motion, just
Motion
reports.
is treasurer's report. We have the police action report, code enforcement, and any commissioner liaison reports. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the big one. Okay, the Armada Police Department's police action report for May 2024 is as follows. Traffic tickets issued were 23, domestic violence arrests were 2, disorderly person arrest 1, assist the Armada Township Fire Department inside the village 5, assist other agencies 2, Macomb County Sheriff in the Armada Township. Suspicious situation 1, civil dispute 2, dog or animal complaint 2, disturbance 2, alarm for an open door 2, domestic disturbances 3, lockouts 3, death investigations were 0, that's a good number. Juvenile related incidents 2, damaged property report 2, mental distress situations 3, warrant arrest 0, miscellaneous calls for service 8, missing persons 0, lost and found property was 0, theft 0, retail fraud 0, internet fraud 0. We're looking good. Motor vehicle accidents 3. As of May 30, 2023, I think they should be 2024. Miles on patrol car 431 is 102,095 miles. On number 432, the F-150 is 38,159 miles. And on 433, the unmarked Dodge is 64,127. Officers have completed online portion of the TASER training while working, and I am waiting for Armada Schools to approve use of the school gym for the practical training. Officer Cubitt will qualify each officer in the use of the TASER. He's already taken training to be qualified to do that. There is a short recertification process that needs to be done each year, and the training process can be kept in-house with Officer Cubitt certified as an instructor. The Armada Police will be doing the required firearm qualification at the Macomb County Sheriff's Department in June.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anybody next?
Nothing from planning commission.
Okay.
What about parks?
Yeah, parks.
Parks.
Yes, what's
What
the
is
big news in the
parks doing,
parks?
Mike?
Everybody has a, or they should have, there's a few of them in place. Steve Clark so generously plotted it out, and we went out and measured it. They're coming tomorrow. I'm supposed to meet them at 8 o'clock, and they said it'll either be done tomorrow or by Wednesday, early Wednesday.
And what is that, Mike?
It's a playscape. The old bear playscape.
Yep.
Well, that's been a long time coming. Looking forward to seeing it.
Super excited.
There wasn't room to do it over by where the other place stuff is.
No,
Not really,
No?
no.
I don't like it over in the front corner like that. It's vulnerable.
Well, I kind of like it there, the fact that people, as they're driving by, can put eyes on it, so maybe it'll cut down
That's
on
a
any
good idea.
vandalism.
That's a good
I
idea.
mean, it's a sad state of affairs when you gotta worry about that.
But,
And
yeah.
it is wooden, and so,
Right.
Okay.
Don't give ideas, yeah.
yeah.
I like it better there now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be there.
Michael Starrett, do you have anything?
I have nothing, Steve.
Nothing, okay. Ross?
Yeah, if you, everybody should have a copy of the Telto revised contract in front of them. So about a month and a half ago, council approved contracting with Telto to do hydrovacing in the village. The monies involved here are both funds from the water department that we had saved up to do hydrovacing of lead service lines, and we also received a grant from the state for specific lines that we think are lead or galvanized. So that amounts to about 150 lines, and we had a price from Telto of $621 per hole that they put in the ground for us. Again, council had approved this. After we approved that contract, the state sent us required language for contracts, and it covers a number of different things. The one that affects Telto is the Davis-Bacon Act, which requires certain pricing for labor. So what you see in front of you is a revised contract, which I've signed with Telto. The change here is the cost of $694, but in the process, we've reduced the number of lines that we're going to look at, so the pricing is actually less than what the original contract was. So I've gone ahead and signed this to keep this moving. We're under a deadline to get composition of our service lines to the state by the middle of October, and this allows us to do this. So if you take a look at the back of this, that this adds in essentially an amendment which Telto has signed. There's a number of different components, and they've got the full state language. This is just an abbreviated version to include the Iran Sanction Act and anti-lobbying component, so on and so on. As I say, the one that affects this particular contract is Davis-Bacon. So Telto has signed that, has signed off on being able to do that. Increased price, but fewer number of service lines. Just so you know how I got there, we found some additional as-built sheets at the DPW office that confirms composition of certain lines, and so we were able to take those off the list of 150. So we've got a list of 136 lines now, so 136 times the 694 for this particular activity gets in at about $92,000, and we were at 93 and change. So just want to let you know that we've done that. With respect to that, the village and Telto will start doing the hydrovacing within the next couple weeks. We should have that completed by the end of September, so that we can submit our report in October to Eagle. Related to that, we are doing our, and we've also mentioned this in the last meeting or two, we're beginning our lead copper sampling. That's required by Eagle. We have 20 residents that we typically work with. This is usually on a 3-year cycle. Letters have gone out to all of those residences, and the owners informed. Most of those are familiar with this process, and that starts this week. Last thing is, we had talked a meeting or two ago about the fact that we did get a grant for a grant writer. I've used that grant writer to submit a grant to Rails and Trails Conservancy in the amount of $25,000. We'll see if we get it for a trail connection. Jeff had helped us get an easement with Macomb County. That easement is still good. I told council I was not going to ask council for any money for that, so it would be grants or other donations. And so starting the process to try to find money to put that thing in. Questions, comments?
The only comment, Jeff, did you have a chance to look at the updated?
I just, well, Mr. Belk was doing his presentation, I did review it. I mean, I don't think it takes further council action as long as it stays below the approved amount. And if that's the case,
I just
I
wanted
thought you were
to.
anticipating that was your question.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and the wording that's been added.
Yeah, those are, those are pretty standard things based on funding from the states, Steve, so.
Okay,
I haven't looked at every one of them, but I will tell you Davis-Bacon is
Pretty standard.
pretty standard when you get federal funding or in some cases state.
Right.
They must be getting some form of federal funding for this program at the state
Yes,
level.
the hydrovacing is
Clean water maybe, or
well, hydrovacing is required to identify the composition of service lines. The state has a requirement for all municipalities to submit composition of their service lines by the 15th of October. The money for this is a combination of the TMF grant that we got, the $61,000, so that takes care of 83 of these units in here, and then we have a number that we do not believe are lead or galvanized, but there's segments of the line that we don't know, and that funds the rest of them. And as I say, we've reduced the amount of 150 to 136 or 134, not quite sure, but comes out to $92,700 and something, so it is below what council approved of $93,150. If it was above that, I would have brought it back to council to make that change, but since it was below and nothing else really changes other than the deletion of some of the service lines and the addition of these clauses that have to be in the contract, I went ahead and pushed it forward.
does the Davis-Bacon apply to all of the project, the complete scope of the project, or just to certain ones that are funded by?
It would be just the ones that are funded by, so that's a great point. Could go back to Bernie, he'd probably shoot me at this point. But I will go back and talk to him about that. It only applies to the TMF grant funding service lines.
I mean, you might want to explore it. I don't know if it
Yeah.
saves, but it might stretch your dollars a little bit farther.
I believe we're gonna be able to do even less than the 134 as the DPW finds blueprints and so on that have specific information that we didn't find in the past, so.
Russ, too, if you could give a simple version of what hydrovacing is, some of the citizens might not know what is involved.
Yeah, just imagine a giant vacuum cleaner, but it's powerful enough to actually remove dirt from the ground. Most of these service lines are 4 to 5 feet below grade, and what we're doing is locating around the curb stop or the valve stop, different nomenclature for essentially the same thing, where the public side of the water system and the private side, the part that goes into a house, connects. And what we'll do is we will make a hole at that point of the curb stop and try to determine, it gets complicated. We will determine through various measures what the composition of those lines are.
Going into the homes.
Well, going into the homes and in some cases going to the water main.
Okay.
This minimizes any damage. Instead of being out there with a backhoe and shovels and stuff, because, you know, the other
It's a-
utilities in the area, so
Yeah.
it kind of makes it
It's a far less
a slurry
intrusive-
with mud, and then
Yeah.
they suck it back out, and once we do that, then
DPW
DPW will come
is
back in
gonna
and
go back
fill
and
things back in.
restore the area.
Yeah.
This is essentially needed because the state, both the federal government and the state, you're probably seeing on TV or hearing on the radio that they're making a concerted effort to identify and remove lead and galvanized service lines in municipalities. And so that is coming for the village as well. But we have not, over time, we have not done a great job about identifying what the composition of these lines is. And some of the lines have been underground for many years, and so records weren't taken, and so we're in the process of trying to do that, computerize it, and we'll have then an accurate idea of what the lines are from the main to the curb stop into the house.
So actually, the newer subs won't have.
You're correct.
They should not.
They should not.
No.
Right.
They-
So anybody that's concerned, oh, they're gonna come up, so they got my
Yeah,
house.
lead lines were banned in construction in about 1988, so nothing past 1988 should have any
Build.
lead or galvanized lines in them. So you can imagine then a lot of this work's gonna be in the older sections of the village, not the newer.
Okay, thank you. And
Good
did you want to
question.
speak of
Hold on,
treasury
I
report?
think-
I had one question.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We had, you had given us a packet, Ross, back when we approved this, and had a couple other quotes. Does this now put us where we're not taking the lowest bid?
No, this is still the lowest bid.
Given the other, I think there were
Yeah.
two other ones?
It's still the lowest bid, and actually it's also a best value because Telto has agreed to, in some cases, make bigger holes rather than smaller holes. Usually the diameter of these holes is about 12 inches, and based upon what Eagle wants to see, they want to see up to 12 inches away from that curb stop, which is essentially a box in the ground where the pipes connect with a shut-off valve. And so you could be 36 to 42 inches out from the center of that curb stop, and Telto has agreed to make big holes and not charge us for two holes. And so
Gotcha.
the other companies were higher. One was not significantly higher, but it was a 12-inch hole. And so in both cases here, we still have low cost, and we have Telto willing to work with us to allow us to find what we need to find without charging us for two holes. If that makes
That
sense.
answers my question.
It is very complicated, but when you get down to it, it's
Dig a hole.
rudimentary.
Dig a
We're talking holes. Holes in the
I have one more question for, are we documenting, are we taking pictures of each thing, or?
We're
Keep a
not,
report?
we're not taking pictures, but we are documenting.
Okay.
We need to specifically, especially for TMF, because that will be checked by Eagle, we need to identify what's on those lines.
Okay.
But really, any line that we touch, we need to determine what that material is. Again, the grant was based upon looking specifically at lines that we suspect are lead or galvanized. We do have a slew where we know where 3 points are. We don't know the 4th point. We can probably guess what it is, but we don't know. And we have to check a sampling, and it gets mathematical, and I could take another 20 minutes to talk to you about it. This is all the stuff, fun stuff I do as the water commissioner. But we are taking specific information about that line, and will then eventually computerize it, so DPW has this in the future.
Okay, very good. Ann, did you want to say anything about the treasury report?
You all have copies of the summary, and I just want to point out that under the investments, that number at the choice one account did go up. That CD matured, and we rolled it over. So that's our new amount we have now that matured. The other two that I had talked to you about, when I went back to do that, it was going to cost us to turn those in early, more than it would benefit us. So those mature in September, and hopefully the rates will still be up there when that comes along. And we'll roll
Good
those over
investment
as
to
well.
cost you money.
Right, exactly, exactly.
I got one of those.
I did move some money to take advantage of the interest rate in the savings accounts. I talked with Mike today to let him know I had done that. And I also just wanted to mention that we had talked during the budget meetings about the money from sewer and water that had been given as a loan, about the repayments on that. So I would like to get that payment out at the end of the first quarter, which would be the end of June. That way you have a more accurate picture of what you have in there.
So you want those paid back by the end of?
Yeah, by the end of June. We
You're
had
asking for the-
agreed to
for the
take the
full
money in the budget meetings, but we never set a time of when we were gonna do it. So I just like to get it out of there, so then you have a good idea of what you have left.
Thank you.
That's it for me.
Are we all caught up then with administrative reports? Okay, moving on, move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Okay. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no old business. We have new business. Discuss the letter of interest for the vacant council seat and interview potential candidates. Michelle, do you want to speak on this a
Well,
minute?
we only got one from Amy. Amy was here when we appointed Mike. If there's anything further, I think that council wants to ask of her, they can do so, but we did talk to her about that last meeting, or that few meetings ago. I know that President Conan supports this, he is not here, but usually it's, you know, we usually have the president do this, but since he's not here, it's me. So if anybody has any questions of Amy, now would be the time to ask, or Amy, if you have anything to say, you're welcome to speak.
No, I don't like to speak.
I know you don't. I know.
That's why you want to, that's why you want to sit up here. Yeah.
You don't have to, but, and if not, I mean, I guess we could just make a motion.
Then I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Amy Barzak to the elective office of village trustee for a term ending with the next regular village election, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Chapter 2 of the General Law of Village Act.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion?
It's good to see a new face and some new ideas.
Now, with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
Okay, Amy, call me tomorrow and we'll set up a time for you to get sworn in. Okay?
Thank you very much. Next, we have item B, water reliability quote. Says here-
Okay, I was not aware Chairman Coleman was not going to be here tonight. What you have in front of you is a row quote for three components of, I guess I would just say, a composite study on water reliability. There's the reliability study itself. There's a hydrological study, which is to make sure we know where the next well is going to be put in the village. Hopefully 2 or 3 more sites, potential sites. And then the third component is a capacity study that we, in theory, need to know if we're going to develop in the community. Right now, we know we have a couple people that have talked to us about development, one outside of the village, one inside of the village, and I know that the township is in the process of approving a master plan, which in their mind cites development south of the village. So in my mind, it's better to be ready for that than be guessing at it. But given that we've got 2 people vacant tonight, I've been asked to hold off on the 2 more perhaps controversial components, which I pleased to do at the request, and so I'm going to push to get the water reliability study done tonight. That's at least controversial. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the road PSC water reliability study quote in the amount of $15,000 and allow the water commissioner to sign it for the village.
This is, Ross, this is the portion that we do every 5 years?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Okay, so you just stopped at the village, right?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you
Yeah.
just stopped the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can,
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Support.
Motion and support. Any more discussion? If not, roll call please.
Belkey,
yes?
Adair,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Sturt,
Yes.
Thank you all.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item C, SDI compensation increase budget amendment.
This is my item. I put it on. We had discussed this in a meeting with the STI, or one of the representatives of the STI group that does it for us. STI is salvage title inspectors. I thought we were pretty much at an understanding at that meeting, and I went forward and put it onto the agenda. And since then, the president had asked me to take it off. He didn't really give me a really good reason why to take it off.
Well, I was at that meeting, and my understanding was that Officer Kubik was going to a meeting in the next month or a month and a half.
Is it okay if I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
I am not going to the meeting, but I do know officers that are going to
Okay.
the next training class, which is today and tomorrow.
Okay,
They're there now, and I've been in contact with them this morning to present that question to the instructors. So I will go back from them tomorrow.
okay. And the question is the state going to increase the amount that they allow for the vehicle inspection, which now is
Right.
held at $100?
As a quick explanation, the state allows us to charge $100 per vehicle for inspection. However, that $100 is set in state law. So in order to get it a different amount, the law has to be amended. Prior training classes that I've gone to, prior refresh classes I've gone to, there has been talk about raising it, but there's no action has been taken up to this date. As I said, I do know officers down at the training class right now, and they're gonna check and see what they can find out for me.
Okay, so probably doesn't make any difference at this point if we move it to the next council meeting?
That's your call.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, yeah.
To change the
and
law
to
for
the-
the months.
Yeah,
No,
It takes
it's
years.
gonna take
Right.
years.
Because right now, the officer, the inspector gets money and the village gets money.
Yes,
So if we give an increase, we're taking away from the village part of it that we also
Yes and
partially
no.
pay. I understand that, I understand, but
Probably
it'd be
not
nice to know if
gonna
the state's gonna increase it. It would make the decision a lot easier, I think, on our part to give them more money, if that's what the board
Yeah.
wants to do.
I think it should be noted that they have never gotten an increase since the inception of this
13
program,
years.
Yeah,
since 2001.
2011.
Yes, 11,
Yes.
sorry, 2001, that was before me.
and the inspectors use their own gas to go to these,
Yeah.
Maintenance,
Their own
everything's,
everything.
costs have gone up.
yeah, so.
And the
Andy, you
point
wanna speak?
too is that even if you get information, like you said, if the law changes, it takes years for that to happen.
Well, they already
So
work.
are we really gonna wait another 3 or
Well,
4 years
Right.
to make
I
that
think-
change?
Yeah.
Having more information, I think will help us make a decision, that's all, so.
Okay, then I will go ahead and pull that item.
Do you want
Okay.
to postpone it?
Well, yeah, why don't-
What's
why don't we do
what's the
Next
motion,
meeting.
Jeff?
So it's a motion to postpone consideration of the STI compensation increase to the June 24th.
Man, you go too fast.
I know.
Postpone consideration of the STI compensation
Increase
increase, okay.
to the June 24th regular village council meeting.
Okay.
I just, so that's not a debatable motion, so everybody, once the motion is made and seconded, you just vote. Because it's to a date certain. If you postpone it indefinitely, then everybody has a right to debate that. But if everybody knows it's the date certain, then there's no debate on that motion.
Okay, so do we have a motion? What he said, right?
Yeah, what do you think?
We need a second.
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mike seconds. We have a motion, a second, any discussion on this? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Can you just let us know what they do say though? I mean,
Absolutely.
Communicate.
Yes, I should do it tomorrow.
Okay.
If I can just make a suggestion, once Andrew gets it, I mean, to Mike's point, that's gonna take a long time.
Yeah.
We probably need to reach out to our state, Armada's state rep and state senator, and ask them that this is an item of interest, and if there isn't any current legislation, that would be something that we would ask them to sponsor. Because otherwise
Who's gonna sponsor
Never
it?
gonna happen.
no, it's never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
So, we've had some luck with that, I think Representative Yarich.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yes,
he's
he-
not there anymore.
I know, I realize
Yeah.
that, but he was able to get that legislation passed for us
He was.
on
Right.
that. So I just raised that as a strong suggestion, that you're gonna need somebody to sponsor that. It's probably a very simple amendment, you're just changing this $100,
Yeah,
Right.
so it's not a lot of work, but, we do need somebody kind of get it in gear and get
Mhm.
going on it.
I wonder if we could call Yarrick and ask who.
Jamie Green took
Jamie
over
Green,
for
Jamie
him.
Green.
which we haven't seen a whole lot of.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Well, you
Is
stated,
it worth calling her office though?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
I would say so.
yeah.
Dan Lowers called me back when I called him on the other stuff, so it probably would be worth, I don't know, Andrew, if you want me to reach out to him.
Yes,
and-
please.
Okay, I can do that. Okay,
Okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Next, we have approval of payment of performers for the Armada Jams.
I'd like to make a motion that we resolve to approve creating the checks for all performances at Armada Jams for the 2024 concert season and to allow disbursement to the performers on the
No,
date.
what are you reading here?
I'm reading it right. Because it's written.
Resolution.
It's just written.
That's it.
It sounded like you had a lot more words than what I had written down. Okay, to approve creating the checks for all all right, go ahead, I'm sorry,
Keep going.
I'm sorry, God help me.
All right, so I'll start over again.
Yeah, okay, thank you, that'll help me.
Read slower.
Go slow.
I'm kidding, go ahead.
Make it resolved to approve creating the checks for all performances at Armada Jams for the 2024 concert season and to allow
Oh, God.
disbursement to the performers on the day of their performance.
Yep, that's what I typed up, that's great, okay.
Okay, we have a
Support
motion to
that.
I thought I did something wrong.
No, I don't know, don't even ask.
Mr.
It's been a long
Belkey made a
day.
second on that. Again, this is something that we've been doing for the last few years, this way of paying, so. Any discussion on this? Any further discussion? Do we have a
We'll do roll call.
roll call? Okay.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Adair, yes, Sturts.
Yes.
And for anybody listening, if you don't go to the concerts in the park. It's the nicest thing we have going.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everyone, on that. Next, we have item E, close the office on July 5th, 2024, because of the way the 4th of July falls, so.
It's honestly the day after the 4th of July, the phone does not ring, nobody shows up. We've done this either before or after, depending on where the 4th falls. So, yes, I would ask, since we're only open 4
We're only
hours,
open half the day
asking. I will be on vacation, Ann doesn't work on Fridays, and I think Becky's gonna be gone, so. We're gonna close the office.
Make a motion then to close the village office on Monday, July 5th, 2024.
Support.
Wait a second.
Wait, it's not
Monday.
Monday.
It's a Friday.
It's
For
Friday.
Friday.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, yep, it is a Friday.
Friday.
See? Give me
Yeah,
too
you
much
just-
power. I'm gonna change the date.
It's gonna take Friday and Monday.
I was gonna say.
Anyways,
Change
yes,
Monday
it
to
is.
Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any- Okay.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. That done. Now we're moving on to the 2024 tax rates and warrants. Ann, do you have any comments?
That's what we do every year.
Yeah, we do this every year. We did break it up though, by real and personal, and it's all on one this year. The warrant. Yeah, the rates are there. We finally got them, and we should be good. We need a motion.
There's several motions.
And I did get the tax roll from town assessor today, so I can get, once you approve this tonight, I can get started on working on tax bills.
Sounds good.
Everybody gets one, so I'm gonna start. Make a motion to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for tax year 2024 for operating the general fund be levied at the reduced rate of 8.4791 mils in compliance with the Headley 2024 reduction factor of 1.0, section MCL 211.34D.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Support.
Support? Everybody's all set on that?
I'm gonna do roll.
Okay.
Belkey,
Yes.
Adair,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Stirrit,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
everybody.
Okay, motion carries. Now we have the second part of this.
I will resolve to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for tax year 2024 for operating the municipal street fund, be levied at the reduced rate of 3.3912 mils in compliance with the Headley 2024 reduction factor of 1.0000, section MCL 211.34D.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? If not, call the roll.
Adair,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Stirrit.
Yes.
There's a couple more here.
All right, 2 down, 2 to go.
You wanna go first? Go ahead. Sure. Go down the road.
I motion to be resolved to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for tax year 2024, Public Act 33, special assessment be levied at the council electively reduced rate of 1.7500.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Shaw,
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
Stirrit.
Yes.
God, man.
No, 30 days.
Belkey,
Yeah.
Adair,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
I need a stamp that works. That's not
I'll do the last one. Resolve to authorize the clerk, president, and treasurer to sign all warrants and forms related to the 2024 tax roll.
Support.
This one doesn't have a roll.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What is this tax levy for? For year 2024, oh, PA 33, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one's for K 33.
Yep.
Okay.
Call the roll.
No roll on that one.
No?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You
Joe,
did a
those are your
perfect.
old motions.
You did
I
a
know
perfect
it.
circle on that. You see that way you held that there?
around.
It's like you planned it.
Because I started listening too far into the motion before.
I get it, I've been doing that all night.
Okay, last one, item G, we have a budget amendment. It appears to be for the new playscape that we have, that we're having installed.
Right, I thought we had done this before, but then I went back and looked, we never actually got it in effect, so.
Okay.
Obviously, they're installing it tomorrow, so we do need to make the budget amendment to cover the rest of the costs.
Right.
Make a motion then to amend the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget to decrease the projected fund balance of the general fund budget at the end of the fiscal year 2024-2025 by $3,757.42.
Support.
A motion and support, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you want to roll on that, or don't you care? Okay, all right.
Motion carries.
Did we do the assessor supervisor's warrant? Fran?
Yeah, it was part of the packet.
Okay, we're done with new business. We have any upcoming agenda items?
The STI.
Yeah, STI.
Be bringing back the hydrological and capacity study.
Anyone else have anything?
So we're doing part-timers on the next one.
Oh, that's right, so it's not on, is it? Okay. We are doing a, police,
You're going to talk about it.
yeah, we're talking about police increase for the part-timers.
Okay, that finishes up on upcoming agenda items. Again, we move back to citizens' comments. Anybody have anything?
Can we make an additional question? Can I make a comment?
Yep, go ahead.
Does it have to be
Keep it-
related?
Keep it short, no.
Well, what is, I'm trying to see what is the time limit on here
Time limit for what?
Three
for
minutes.
comments. Is that listed here?
3 minutes.
It's just 3
It's
minutes?
listed up there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, on the wall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know it was
Yep.
there. Okay, that is, okay, my comment is, are you guys lowering your property taxes? Are you not supposed to answer? You can't answer?
No, we can answer
So, are you referring when you heard reduction?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, Ann can explain it better, but it's heavily rollback, right? That was the.
Yes.
Reduction,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So by state law, when the tax rolls are prepared, the county then comes in and they can review the roll and they can impose, and again, it's across all communities. But that we're limited to the amount that we can increase taxes. So you mentioned the general fund tax, I can't remember what the other two were.
Those
but
streets.
Right, streets. Those are all subject to Headley rollback. So if the county says you have to roll those taxes, millage rates back, then we have to do it. So that's why the word reduction is used. It's fairly complicated. But
No problem, I just.
yeah, but it's a Headley amendment, a rollback is what it is.
So will the township, will my taxes come down? That's all I care to know.
Yeah.
No, does it, so if it happened in the village, will it happen?
I don't want to guess, but I
Yeah.
You can- it's a
suspect
guess?
You're subject to Headley, they're subject to Headley
Everybody's
also.
subject.
Everybody's
Yeah.
subject.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they might be in a different, every millage rate's a little bit different, and not every community across the board will realize the same reduction.
Okay.
And that's why they mentioned the word factors, but, yeah, so I can't speak to whether they will or they won't. Their assessor would probably, and their treasurer would have to respond to that. But they are subject to a Headley rollback if it applies.
Okay, just one more thing. I have sample ballots here for precinct 1 and precinct 2. I think it's really good if our citizenry would know that it's going to be a little confusing if you want to vote this time. The only place that candidates that are running, you can vote for in the Republican Party section are under the Republican Party section. So just make sure you know that you can't cross vote in one Democrat and one Republican. It's either one or the other. So I don't know how we
It's
can
a
make.
straight ticket.
It's a straight
It's a
ticket.
straight ticket,
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
straight ticket.
okay, when you say straight ticket, you mean that you can only vote on one side.
You can only vote Republican or you can only vote Democratic. You can't cross vote, because then it'll
Invalidate your ballot.
your ballot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if there are people that are non-partisan?
If you want to vote in the primary,
You have to-
Everybody runs as a Republican, I mean, I won't say fortunately or unfortunately,
Right, it
but
just has it is.
it's just the way it is out here.
So if
We
I'm a
do have
Democrat,
non-partisan ballots at the polls.
Yeah.
so if I'm a Democrat and there's somebody on the Republican side, what would I do? What would I do? I would just vote Republican.
Not
If
if
they're-
you take
if
a
I-
nonpartisan ballot.
You said what?
Not if you take a nonpartisan ballot.
I don't think there is a nonpartisan ballot.
Right.
That's and honestly, Marcia, that's more of a question for the township clerk since she does the elections.
There's
Or
only
for
one
her
non,
deputy.
right.
Yeah. We don't want to misinform the public, but I've worked a lot of elections, as has Joe. And when people come in on a primary, it's always a one-party ticket. That's all you can vote. And, and yes, it is confusing to a lot of people, and boy, do we get some pushback. But unfortunately, that's the way the state does it.
So if I'm a Democrat and I want to vote Republican, I can. And if I'm a
You can.
Republican and want to vote
Yes, you
Democrat,
can.
I can.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
Yes.
And with the primary coming up, if
That
everybody
decides
being Republican, that will settle
Who's on the ballot in
who's on the
November.
ballot.
Yes.
In
Instead of
November.
waiting till.
In November.
Yeah, right, but
Yes.
it will be settled at that primary.
Yeah.
It'll be settled
So
on
don't wait to
August
vote
6th.
in November because you've
Because
lost
you
your.
lost
So
your
August
vote.
6th.
That's for local.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Gotcha.
for local.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
good.
Sam?
Good add,
I just
Sam.
wanted to say that that's for local
Yes.
Yes.
candidates, and also the flowers and the new banners look really nice. Thanks
Yes,
for
they
doing
do.
that. It really
Yes.
spruces up the town.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizen comments? Move on to council comments. Anybody have anything?
Concerts in the park,
Yoo-hoo.
Wednesday,
Start this
seven,
week.
starts at 7 and ends at 8:30. We'll have our first concert.
And the kids should be able to play in the new place?
Yes, they should.
We hope.
Perfect.
Yeah, if not, we're gonna have to tape it off, but
Right.
Wasted the whole Wednesday.
Why is that?
No concert last week.
Oh, yeah, Joe thought they started like next
I
week.
thought we had all of June covered
She
for
called.
concerts. Like, all
You
of
went?
it was pouring.
oh.
Oh, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was true.
Okay, anybody else have council comments?
Yeah, Steve, I know Dave's not here to defend himself, but I've been asking about this for a while. When Chris Led's decided that he could not stay in council any longer, I would have expected Dave or somebody to have talked to him about ongoing actions and where he was with things. I would like to find out where we are with the Lathrop extension action. Doesn't have to be solved, I'd just like to know where we are. And the decision to provide maintenance and materials to the common gravel area down there by Orchard Construction, granary and the DPW yard. I haven't heard anything back from Dave on that.
I've been working on that. I got a little bit, talked to Jeff a little bit, and I've talked to Paul from Rowe. We're not dead in the water on that. It's moving, but a little slow. And then speaking of.
Slow is okay.
Yes. I got some info from Paul from Rowe that the Simons and First Street bid opening will be Tuesday, June
Tomorrow.
25th at 2 p.m. So we're gonna be moving on that, so.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
You got that info too?
I
didn't you,
did.
Michelle?
Yeah, I
Okay.
won't be here, but yeah.
Okay, I will try and make that.
Do you think that will be a possible agenda item to award the bid, or do you think they'll have the recommendation and review of the bids by then?
We will, yeah, I mean, we may bring that to the next meeting. We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
vote
Yeah, I
on
mean,
it.
the only reason I'm saying is.
Well,
that-
we'll put it on the agenda,
If
and
it's-
if it doesn't happen,
Right, it
it's
doesn't
not
happen,
that- it
but-
doesn't happen.
But I just, you know,
Good point.
it's mid-June. you
Yeah.
know, By the time we accept the bid, get everything
Yeah.
signed, you're into July and.
Right. Well, I've spoke to him. I mean, everybody's been worried about the timeline, and I've talked to Paul a number of times, and according to him,
Yeah.
we're
Fine.
good with his schedule, so. Okay, any other council comments? Community events?
Concerts in the
Concerts in the
park.
We have no closed session tonight, and next, I guess we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make
It's
a
your job,
motion
Mike.
to adjourn the meeting at 7:54.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All passes. Thank you, everyone.